the Beths, who dropped Future Me Hates Me in 2018. One of my favorite albums of that year. Got a positive review from Dave, which is
really good
for a rock album, hard to get. So I think that gives you a little bit of credence into how good that album was. Dave, did you feel like the second album, Jump Rope Gazers, is living up to the best, the usual quality?
No.
Why not?
No. Well, the first 3 songs are good. You know, it's like the first album. And then we get the traditional tale as old as time with indie rock.
Yeah.
And they're not really that much indie rock. They're kind of like power pop. But anyway, it's that classic thing that happens with the second album where they don't know what to do. You know, that first album, Future Me Hates Me, fucking hits because they have really tight hooks and they make really tight songs. Guitar is good. The drum's good. Elizabeth Stokes' vocals are really engaging. I think they're still engaging on the second album, but just like it's much moodier music a little bit, you know? And I was just really surprised to see them go in this direction because I just thought it was really fucking tight shit the first time around. So yeah, I don't hate it or anything. I just was disappointed because I feel like it was kind of a weird, turned down a different road a little bit towards the end of this track listing. But a song like Dying to Believe, track 2, that shit's fucking great. That sounds just like the first album.
Yep. Yeah. You know, it's interesting because the first album was just pacing wise so on level. And you think about the songs that were a little slower, like A River Run. That song, more downbeat for them, still has the same driving kind of like pace to it in terms of structure, in terms of the way that the rhymes are coming, and just the song is written. These are definitely a lot more like Elizabeth Stokes getting down to her feelings. And while I think she's an excellent songwriter, and I definitely think she's going to be delivering as songs that are meaningful and thought-provoking down the road. I think she got a little bit too in her feelings here. And I think the order of the songs almost felt a little bit just like off for me. You know, we talked about the same critique a little bit with the Lady Gaga album Chromatica a couple weeks ago. But you go from those first 3 songs, and then Jump Rope Gazers, you know, it starts to get a little bit more like, okay. And then you're really in your feelings. Do You Want Me Now is like, I'm pretty sure about her wanting her therapist, which is pretty interesting. But then it kind of goes back up a little bit more with like Mars, the God of War, but You Are a Beam of Light and Just Shy of Shore, I feel like are pretty like lackadaisical way to end the album, which is just so disappointing because, like you said, I've seen the Best live. That last album plays so well live. It's just energy after energy, and this just felt a lot more up and down. And I think they just really shine when they're bringing the heat fast and furious.
It's so interesting too because when they came out mainstream wise in 2018, they're just this unknown band from New Zealand with 1 EP to their name.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're delivering a sophomore album with the whole industry of indie rock's expectations now laid upon them, you know?
Yeah.
And they're not the first to make this mistake. They won't be the last. I think a lot of like Foster the People kind of taking a weird turn with Supermodel, you know?
I mean, even this year talking about, I was going to say Cloud Nothings, but that's not who I was talking about. Will Toledo, you know, and
Car Seat
Headrest. I mean, that first album, Teens of Denial, fucking banger after banger, and then hard to recapture that magic. You know, it's tough. I think, especially when you think of indie rock and what really dominates the sphere, you know, we talked about Phoebe Bridgers, we talked about Soccer Mommy, and where they really thrive is with really sharp lyrics. Soccer Mommy, you know, brings in, I think, a little bit more energy and beat to her music than Phoebe does.
Melody.
Yeah, but those are like the top of it right now, and this could have been the best chance to really capture that scene, but I felt like they fell a little bit more into that style rather than continuing to carve out their own lane. So.
Right. At the end of the day, there's no whatever, there's no happy unhappy on Jump Rope Gazers.
Well, what were the songs you did like?
Dying to Believe, the
Dying to
second song,
Believe.
I thought was
Yeah,
really good.
it's really
And those
strong
first three
still.
songs in general, I thought sounded good. I was like really engaged with the album, and then as we've said, started to lose me as we slowed down a bit.
Yeah, I really liked Mars, the God of War in the second half of the album too. I felt like that guitar solo at the end. I want to hear more of that in the Beths because I felt like their other songs on the first album were just so tight. They didn't allow themselves to like expound at all or have those moments. So I'd like to hear them get a little bit more back to that first album sound with a little bit more of that like solo, letting them go a little wild as well. So disappointing, but I think we're still going to put one or two songs on to our playlist